Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. And that's depending where you are in the world. If my eyes are closing, it's because I'm tired. um, we're doing a nighttime devotion. It is a Sunday evening. We're live here in London. The devotional is called Conflict and Courage. The title today, One Expensive Mistake. The scripture reading comes from Ecclesiastes 7, verse 29. God have made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. The book of Genesis gives quite a definite account of social and individual life, and yet we have no record of an infant's being born blind, deaf, crippled, deformed, or imbecile. There's not an instance upon record of a natural death in infancy, childhood, or even manhood. There is no account of man and women dying of disease. Obituary notices in the book of Genesis run thus: and all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. God endowed man with so great vital force that he's withstood the accumulation of disease brought upon the race in consequence of perverted habits, and has continued for 6,000 years. This fact of itself is enough to evidence to us the strength and electrical energy that God gave to man at his creation. If Adam at his creation had not been endowed with 20 times as much vital force as men now have, the race, with their present habits of living in violation of natural law, would have become extinct. God did not create the race in its present feeble condition. This state of things is not the work of providence, but the work of man. It's been brought about by wrong habits and abuses, by violating the laws that God has made to govern man's existence. God created man for his own glory, that after test and trial, the human family might become one with the heavenly family. It was God's purpose to repopulate heaven with the human family, if they would show themselves obedient to his every word. To Eve, it seemed a small thing to disobey God by tasting the fruit of the forbidden tree, and to tempt a husband also to transgress. But their sin opened the floodgates of woe upon the world. Who could know in the moment of temptation the terrible consequences that will result from one wrong step? Yeah, think about it. One expensive mistake, one bite of a piece of fruit. And that's not what the problem was. The problem was our God, our Father, the Creator, had said to our foreparents, anything you can have, absolutely anything, except the fruit from that one tree. Now, they didn't have They weren't forearmed with knowledge or any kind of experience of evil or wrongdoing, other than the fact that do what God says and nothing else. They were tempted. I say they. She was tempted by the serpent, who we know was the devil. And he, full well knowing he was going against what God had said, followed her. And this is the problem. I personally think man's biggest temptation today is the same as our first parents. Man's biggest temptation is woman. And woman's biggest temptation, that would have to say, I don't know. I really don't want to say, because I mean, I know on a general basis, women love bags and shoes and stuff, but I think if we're talking about bare basics, I don't know. I couldn't say. Obviously, in the Garden of Eden, it was the snake tempting her with more knowledge. Maybe it was the fact that she could step out from under the shadow of Adam. Maybe. I don't know. Greetings, Arakel. Thank you for joining me. Much love to you always. I'm glad you're enjoying this. What are your views about Adam and Eve? I mean, me, like I said, I too believe man's greatest temptation is woman. But women's temptation, I mean, it can be many things for women, I think. But I think on a general basis, the main thing is women. There's the biggest temptation for men. And in that respect, that one, I'm glad you agree, that one big, I'm not even going to say mistake. It was a mistake, but she knew what she was doing. Changed the course of human history from that first bite, that first temptation. Well, we don't even know if that was the first temptation or trial they endured. We don't know that. That's the one that we're told. Leave some comments when you've read this, when you've listened to this. What's your views on man's temptations and woman's temptations? I can't answer for women generally, and I can only answer from my perspective on behalf of men. Let me hear your views.